Welcome to the Game Case, a show for, well, anyone that plays World of Warcraft. The show rife with ramblings, tips, tricks, and goings-on in WoW. Here's your host, Chris Case.
Well, hello, hi, howdy, and welcome to episode 42 of the Game Case. I am your host, Chris, also known as Cuddles, a brewmaster monk on Airy Peak in the Convert to Raid Guild. This week, we're going to talk a little bit about our week in Blizzard gaming, cover some Blizzard news, and then we're going to talk a little bit about raiding and the state of it, both now and coming up in Legion. Because I have the honor to be rejoined by my good friend, my kilt brother, and a man sworn to secrecy about the cold, lonely night we spent together in a motel on the banks of Lake Michigan. I'm not the only one that calls him my favorite bear, Mr. Ursangus. Ursangus, how are you doing tonight?
Fantastic. Listen, man,
awesome.
About that motel.
Yeah.
I know we kind of agreed as we dropped our keys off at the front desk to keep it a little bit of a secret. But there may or may not be something on my Mule Twitter account. Just saying.
Okay. I'll look for it. Hi, kitty.
Yeah, he knows you're recording.
That's it. As I said, though, so much less annoying than an agitated basset hound. Like, so much cuter.
Without a doubt.
So, first of all, I'd like to thank you so much for taking some time out of your extremely full schedule. How was your last week of life, my friend?
Man, I did so much adulting today. So, got my taxes done. Unclogged.
Did you? Okay.
That sink.
You don't have to. I don't need figures, but did you owe, or are you getting something back?
Oh, I'm getting some back.
Let's not. Well, you moved across country. You got a new job. Like all sorts of nice deductions.
Oh man, the relocation deductions alone. Like I'm going. Maybe I need a new computer. I am so glad I cut my receipts for that. So if you guys ever move across the country, make sure to keep your receipts.
I am horrible about that. I will make it. I'm not even going to say this out loud on the internet. But I am horrible about that.
No, but honestly, past that, man, honestly, I think it's been kind of quiet on the WoW front for me. I log in for raiding and, a little bit of farming here and there. And, of course, the standard, officer stuff. But past that, I've been playing a little bit of D3, getting power leveled. So it's a little GTA 3, a little Hearthstone, just kind of sowing the seed right now.
Nice. Just kind of kicking back and relaxing.
Yeah, why not?
It's kind of nice right now, I have to say. Like, everything's kind of, calming down, and you don't feel like there's not that grind to go get flying. There's not, we have alts that we're leveling and or gearing up and kind of getting ready for Legion, but everyone's being real salty because it's taking, Legion isn't going to come to us till, God knows. You know what? I kind of like it. I don't like the pressure of raid tier progression, even though I don't do serious progression. And I know you don't either, although we're both serious about raiding. Yeah. Like we're not mythic 13 hours a day, 7 days a week raiders. But like having this nice little, it's kind of nice. It's refreshing. Like, I know I can take 2-3 days, maybe take off of the game or jump in and just do garrison chores, but not have to worry about, all right, tonight I got to go grind out some saber-tooths and go get some fell blights. And it's pleasant.
It's interesting because when you get the chance to step back away for a couple of days, it gives you a chance to kind of refocus on what you want to do to enjoy the game.
Oh, yeah.
And for some people, that's alts. For people who are, I just don't understand them, that's fishing.
I love fishing.
Fishing is interesting, and it's the weirdest mechanic I've ever seen added to an MMO. But some people enjoy it. I maxed it on one tune, and I said, okay. I'm good.
One of these days, I want to do the stranglethorn, like, fishing thing. I want to try that.
I was trying for that for years, and then I had a Christmas where I'm out of town, no friends around, everybody's doing their own thing. So I said, you know what, Stranglethorn fishing tournaments today. Why don't I give that a shot? Boom, got it, nailed it.
Nice.
So now that achievement says December 25th, and I'm like, okay, all right, now I've got the salty title, and I'm good.
Oh, that's great. And I have to point this out. Marissa just had a great idea, and I might have to take this to heart. So I have access to the alpha. Has anybody been streaming alpha fishing? Has anyone been doing this? I might have just found my niche. I just found my 1 million YouTube views right there. Alpha fishing tutorials.
Well, they've got the legendary for fishing in Legion.
I know.
I don't know if it's released yet or not, but there's a legendary for fishing.
Yes. Oh, I cannot wait.
So let's call it back for a second. It's especially touching to me because druids, especially non-resto druids back in the day, which we call Wednesday, a fishing pole was our best in slot weapon. I kid you not.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was blown away. I think we talked about this on. Did we talk about this on your show? That I was blown away that you had to pay for spells.
Oh, no, we didn't talk about that. Yes.
So I tweeted this out the other day. I was listening to Girls Gone WoW, which like they're such a delightful like breath of fresh air to listen to. Like they talk. I mean, they're a WoW podcast, but they're British and they're adorable. and so sometimes they find their way into my ears. And they were talking to someone, and that was one of the things that they were talking about. Is we used to have to pay for spells, and that blew me away. Like what?
That was a thing.
I don't know if I would have played WoW back then.
Well, I remember honestly back then. I remember intentionally not learning spells I would need because my hunter did not have the gold to pay for all of them.
Wow.
Hey, you think there's a lot of spells right now. Hunters, you can enable all your action bars and you still have like a dozen spells you could not fit on there.
That's insane.
It used to be ridiculous.
That's absolutely insane.
But yeah, so glad we are where we are right now.
Oh yeah. We're in a good spot.
Yeah.
So I've been doing a little bit of gaming myself. I got to do my bacon and cakes raid time, which was great.
Awesome.
Good time with bacon and cakes, and I had the pleasure and the honor of being asked to come along with Just Wipe It on a Sunday night alt raid with my little baby rogue, which was awesome because as a tank. On a team that doesn't have a lot of people wanting to tank on their alts. A lot of time on alt nights with bacon and kegs, I'm asked to bring my tank, which is okay. It does get frustrating to see other people gearing up alts, but I'm there for the team.
Right.
And I will admit to noping out of some of those days. But they were wicked, especially was awesome. Let me come in there. Mudala's internet, your wonderful co-host over on Battle Res Bears, was acting up. So thankfully he wasn't there. I didn't have to put up with him 2 days in a row.
Yeah, that's a blessing.
It really was. It was quite pleasant without him there. I watched a lot of his streams, and rating just seems more fun when Mudala isn't around. But thanks to Acomp and Sharklani. Acomp from CTR and Sharklani from Peak of Serenity and a couple other places have helped me a little bit with my roguing. I'm starting to figure it out. Going from LOL guard to keep up Rupture, keep up Slice and Dice, do this, do that, do this, keep this up, hit this on. Like Subtlety Rogue is fairly complicated. And at least to me, it may not be to others, but coming off of Brewmaster, it definitely is. and those guys have been helping me out. And holy Miss Moly, we got us a live one. Overwatch beta is back. Ursangus is going to be a little bit salty about this one.
A little?
But, so I thought all the invites had gone out. I thought I thought I was out. I thought I wasn't getting in. And I just happened to one final time. I happened to check. And I looked at my BattleNet and it said beta active, whatever it says. And I was flipping out. I wanted to tweet about it and be all excited, but I didn't know. I was like, is this really what it means? And so I had to message like 3 or 4 people that I knew that were in the beta. I was like, is this what your BattleNet looks like? What is this? Is this it? Is this it?
Wait,
is this,
am I supposed to see this thing?
Yeah. Is this right? So it was, I'm in the Overwatch beta. I'm super pumped. I'm super excited. I got to play a little bit of that. Of course, Tuesday night I had to raid, or I had the pleasure of raiding with Bacon and Kegs. Got to go there with my rogue again. He's up to 677 now. So it's coming along. He's not yet mythic geared, but neither is my main. So
it's okay.
It's coming along. I'm pretty happy. And Overwatch was great. I'm having a blast streaming that. I'm having a blast streaming COD. Thanks to everybody that's coming out to my streams. I have, I'm going to mention this again in shout outs, but I've been throwing a little hashtag around, hashtag get serious about streaming. It's, I put up a stream schedule. I'm streaming 6 nights a week. It's something that I go to bed every night after I'm done streaming or after I'm done doing the show. And I have a smile on my face. I love this. Like I love being in front of a camera doing shit on the internet. I don't know why.
A lot of people don't like doing it, and I don't quite understand some of it sometimes because streaming for me is even when I'm just doing Photoshop stuff, I'll still have a camera on me. And if I know somebody's watching, I turn into a complete goofball. I mean, seriously. And it's so much fun. Even the randos that came in and made funny, about this thing.
Yo, my boy Ray got one of them Dysons, yo.
That's still one of my favorite moments. Oh. My favorite moments about streaming is some random comes in and starts talking smack on my vacuum cleaner.
Well, we had Raven the God jumped in here. I don't know if you saw him. I think it was before you got in chat. Mm-hmm. He was telling us, he was asking us if we happen to have any marijuana, and then just saying that we look cool as F. So I mean that's awesome. Okay. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I
don't think he stuck around for the show, and he did not comment that your Bissell game was on fleek, but sir, it is.
But it is.
Hashtag honestly, I don't know. Fleek.
I don't know how cool I could be wearing a Downrim Brilliance t-shirt, though.
I mean, no. I met Jack.
This is okay. So you can back me up on this. Although I will say that I don't know if Jack watches the show or not, but I am working on something for Jack.
Nice. Well, you gave us a little sneak peek of that. What, after the stream? I think after the show on Saturday?
Yeah, I think I tweeted it out a little bit. It doesn't really reveal a lot, but that's okay. That's how Ursangus rolls.
There's a little bit. Well, also, evidently, the chat room has pointed out your fleek Bissell still hasn't moved. So, guys, if you want to keep up hashtag Dirty Sangus, please do. If we could make that a thing, it would make me just really, really happy.
Donate to my Patreon to see the vacuum move.
He's not actually going to vacuum. He's just going to move it. Like, just a little to the left.
Yeah, there's a reason I don't stream in my kitchen. We'll say that.
Oh, nice. Nice. We did a crockpot meal last night, and I will say I'm horrible about cleaning the crockpot. So it may just still have the top on it. If the top's on it, it's clean, right?
Well, as long as it's still warm, it's not congealing at the top.
Well, it was buffalo chicken, and my wife actually made it, and it was delicious. Oh my gosh, really good.
I don't think anything bad ever comes out of a crock pot, to be perfectly honest.
Mm.
I mean, I made shepherd's pie earlier today, and you know what shepherd's pie is, right?
What did you put in it?
What ground beef, green beans, some olives, some
That's
marinara
not
sauce.
shepherd's pie.
I know it's not true shepherd's pie.
That's
Okay,
farmer's pie.
I'll take it. Farmer's pie. But
What does a shepherd have?
Sheep.
A shepherd has sheep.
I know.
Ground beef is not sheep.
I know. True shepherd's pie is ground lamb. I get it. I know.
Ursangus.
But no, I actually did the filling all in the crock pot all at once, and that came out really nice. And it's actually quite. Anyway, this is not a podcast about cooking.
It could be, though.
It could be. We could do that.
I'll tell you what, Navox and I have actually kicked around the idea. I don't remember who it was. It was me, Navox, and someone. Terraburn. We're kicking around the idea of doing a podcast about technology and eating. Because we know nerds love eating. So we're going to go around to different restaurants in the Tampa area and just eat and then podcast about technology stuff and where we ate.
Okay.
It seems like a thing. I don't know. I might have just teased something new, guys. You don't know.
That'd be pretty cool. I'd listen to you.
That segues us very not at all awkwardly into the Blizzard news. And now for news from All Things Blizzard. All right. So for this week in Blizzard news, not a whole lot really happening.
Not really. They just finished up a race, and it might still be going on the Legion dungeons.
Yeah, there were a couple Legion dungeon races. I know Tatfa and Tovo did not triumph in theirs.
No. And that's because Trekkie is a beast.
Yeah.
I mean, he really is.
Yeah.
I mean, if we gotten Trekkie versus Slootbag, I think it might have been a little closer.
Ooh.
That's a challenge right there.
That would be cool to watch.
I'd watch that. They did that at BlizzCon 14 actually. Sloot
really?
and Trekkie. Yeah. When they were racing for Award First on the stage, it was Trekkie and Slootbag.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I do have two little bits of news we're going to cover. Not really Blizzard news, but it's related to Blizzard because I say it is, and it's my show. So, we just did the Central Florida CTR meetup, and guess what? There is another one already coming up. March 19th at the Bay Area Renaissance Festival. It is Barbarian Brew Fest, the very last weekend of the Bay Area Renaissance Festival, in fact. We are all going to meet up there. We're going to have some fun. We're going to drink some ale. We're going to eat some turkey legs.
Okay.
And we're going to have a good time. So there will be an event posted up for that, probably over on Eventbrite this weekend. I know, guys. I know Eventbrite, BlizzCon. I know the feels. I'm thinking that they'll be able to handle the volume for the Central Florida meetup.
For BlizzCon?
We had 30 people there last time. So I think Eventbrite servers can handle this. This will be Wing 2 of the Ren Raid. There is going to be another Ren Raid up near Madison, Wisconsin. And Pat just announced, as well as the Well Played Party tweeted out, that the official Well Played Party Warcraft movie meetup is going to be in Minneapolis, Minnesota this year. There will still be 4 folks that wanted to go to Madison, Wisconsin. There is still going to be a meetup there.
Yep.
But the official Well Played Party meetup will be in Minneapolis. Make sure you check out wellplayedparty.com. There's going to be details and a place to, if you have a movie meetup, make sure there will be details on how to get that out. I'll be talking about it when we get a little bit closer. But that's going to be a concise place for everybody to list all their movie meetups all across the country.
What city is Pat's going to be in again?
Minneapolis. Isn't that where he is?
You mean Minneapolis?
Minneapolis. It's a miniature Annapolis. It's slightly smaller than Annapolis.
Have you been to Annapolis?
I have not.
Okay, you're not missing much. Moving on.
Neither have I been to Minneapolis. I don't know, guys. I'm from the South. I bet there's some towns in Florida you can't pronounce.
I'll bet you're wrong.
Gosh, I wish I had been prepared for this. We
So,
have some
all right,
fun Indian names down here.
Bit of employment background history. Ursangus used to work for a 411 directory.
Ooh.
So when it came to city names, especially Massachusettsians, you cannot.
Yeah, you have Indian stuff up there too.
Yeah,
Because that's the problem that people always have down here is we have a lot of Native American named towns. And I know Massachusetts also, like the Northeast in general, like Kennebunkport.
Well, and then Kennebunkport. But it's like Worcester, Mass, and it's Worcester.
Worcester.
Exactly.
Yeah, I did
So-
that wrong.
Yeah, I got really used to really weird town names, but
Nice.
we'll have to do that sometime. Said, bring it on.
All right. Well,
Bring it on.
our one other little bit of news is, guess what? Cuddles has a Discord. So the Game Case Show has an official Discord server. If you're over on Discord, if you're looking for another place to chat, connect with people, or maybe looking for somewhere to hide from the bigger Discord servers, come on over to mine. bit.ly/cuddlesdiscord. I will place a link in the chat. I'll also put a link in the show notes. So feel free to come on over there. A lot of nights when I am streaming, I'll be sitting in the chat. If the game and I'm not playing with other folks, if it makes sense, I'll sit in the chat. If you want to come in there, come on. If I'm not in there, feel free to hop in there and just talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
It's a great place to be.
There's some fantastic conversations that go on in these Discords.
Oh yeah,
Like-
Discord has blown my mind. When I first heard about it, I was like, I don't need another thing. I have GroupMe, I have Ventrilo, I have TeamSpeak, I have Mumble, I have WhatsApp, I have, like we're in so many places now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to Discord, I was like, I don't want to be in any of those other places anymore.
Oh, yeah, like I just started muting all my GroupMes because they've all got Discords now.
Airlina, that would be Poughkeepsie.
That is Poughkeepsie.
I know
That's
that
what we
one.
should do. Have the chat room challenge me. Bring
Chat
it on.
room, feel free to throw out random names of towns as we go along. This will be
Indeed.
fun for our at-home listeners. I know all about quality audio.
So I will say, though, that you and I talked kind of briefly about this on Battle Rise Bears this last time, but I want to actually put a bug in Blizzard's ear about that player design dungeons.
Ooh.
I want to hear something back on that. I think that's a solid idea.
You need to start tweeting, folks.
Yep.
Because I'll tell
Yep.
you what, I had in my stream a few nights back, one of my regular stream viewers, and actually one of my friends here locally, Squinty, designed an entire raid instance. Like obviously not like designed, but went through the lore for an entire raid instance where I was the end boss. And it was glorious. It was all Murlocs and it was so cool. It was like he actually went through like lore for it.
Dude, I can you imagine if okay, let's say that players were allowed to design dungeons, and then you were the end boss of that dungeon. How awesome would that be?
Scales them down like 5 eye level or 5 levels, so you're an elite, or scales you up.
Right, or give you special abilities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, that will do it for news.
Yes.
And I don't have a great segue for this, but we're going to try out a new segment called Questions from the Cuddle Crew. Let me see. I have a bumper for this somewhere. There we go. New things are new.
I can't hear the bumper.
Questions from the Cuddle Crew. All right, so we have 2 questions this week. Now, if you're wondering how to submit questions, you can go to my Discord. That's bit.ly/Cuddles Discord. And we actually have a channel for questions for the show. Put them right in there, and I'll make sure to get them on the show. Yeah, it's that simple.
Yeah.
So our first question is going to be from Zandara, a.k.a. Kara. And her question is, ooh, how do you keep organized with all your to-dos, IRL and in-game? Ursangus, I'll kick this one to you first.
A big bag of weed. No, I'm kidding. So honestly, one of the primary things I like to do is keep just a spiral notebook handy for some of the things I like to keep track of. There are a lot of things you can set your alarm to as well on just about any smartphone out there. I have appointments set up for in-game stuff all the time. IRL, not so hot at organizing. I'm more organized in World of Warcraft and my gaming than I am, around the day-to-day to Ursangus. I have an internal clock that tells me where I need to go at what time roughly. But past that, I just kind of, I think I'm going to go to the coffee bar. But if you're going to take anything from this, document. Get an idea of what your schedule is normally like. Like I've got, work schedule is always going to be the same. And get an overview of it. And if you really want to go into detail, write in what you're going to do. Said, I've got, face bowl raid on this day from this time to this time. That leaves me this many hours to do this or what have you. Sometimes, I might want to take a trip to Economawalk. See? Snuck it in there.
Threw that in there.
Snuck it in there. Got it. But no, really, be aware of some of the obligations you have and some of the free time you're able to have. And really just keep that up. I like to keep everything more or less in the same generalized area. Like dirty clothes are always on the floor.
Nice.
Empty Mountain Dew cans are always on the desk. Dirty dishes are usually on the desk as well. Set yourself up a regimen and follow it.
Okay. So I'm gonna throw something up here on screen for my answer. And this isn't the full thing. I'm gonna cover you up for a second.
All right.
This is partially this is a very rough draft of my schedule. This is actually literally my entire week and everything that I do, including sleeping, work, family time, streaming, podcasting, everything is on there. I literally have gotten to a point now with the amount of work that I do, between this type of work and work, and then family time and just juggling everything. That's how it is. I schedule everything almost down to the minute. Mm-hmm. I know my wife knows from 7 to about 8:30, 8:45 every night she has me. With the exception of Thursday nights where I freak out over my podcast and OCD over overlays the entire night, and then end up doing my show notes 5 minutes before the show starts. But that's really how I can manage to get the amount of things done that I get done. Now, in game, I'm kind of the flip side of Ursangus. In game, I log into games and I lose hours of my life. Just hours, and will do nothing. I will spend an afternoon flying around Ulduar or Uldum, or just I'll go out to farm mounts and end up only getting to one dungeon and then just flying around looking at stuff. It's yeah.
Well, and honestly, what a lot of times what I'll end up doing is just say, okay, the first hour I'm logged in, I'm just doing Gary chores.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm going to focus on this. And honestly, that's usually on my days off. On when I get home from work, I just kind of, I feel like I'm going to play some D3, or I feel like I'm going to sketch, or I'm going to do something. I leave it open-ended for whatever takes my fancy at that time. But I'm not gonna lie, I do the same thing. I just kind of fly around occasionally
Yeah.
and just see the sights. And we did talk about the vacuum slowly creeping up on me. It was a fantastic joke we missed before the stream went up.
It's coming to get you, Ursangus. The
I thought about
call is
start.
coming from inside the house.
I was joking with Cuddles. I said, "What if I'd answer the Skype call with just the vacuum in my seat?"
And I told him he should have answered like standing up. Then the camera kind of cuts out, and then he's laying on the ground, and the vacuum's next to him, and then he's gone, and the vacuum is just in the chair. That's a YouTube video that needs to be made.
Yeah, yeah, I
Oh,
would have a
jeez.
blast. We got to do that. We got to.
So-
We'll figure it out.
So in summary, Kara, we both have our kind of our realms of disorganization, but I think we both agree on it's all about keeping a schedule, keeping it written down, and actually planning your time. That's the key. If you don't have a plan, you're planning to fail. I've heard that years ago and taken it very much to heart.
And you can go to different levels of detail on this. Like I know that on certain days during certain hours, I'm just logging in to do officer stuff.
Yeah.
That's sometimes that's what you have to do, and honestly, to keep your sanities in some cases.
Oh yeah. Well, we have one other question this week. I think it's from somebody that is in the chat room, Miss Wicked Della. What is your favorite part of World of Warcraft and why?
You're gonna take this one first.
Okay.
To give me time to prepare.
If it was favorite area of Warcraft, it would definitely be Thunder Bluff, which is odd because I don't have a Horde tune, but there's something about I just find Thunder Bluff relaxing and beautiful. Like I spent the last half of your show kind of wandering around Thunder Bluff on my rogue. It's beautiful, and the music there is great. I really, really enjoy it. If you're talking about what's my actual favorite part of the game, it's got to be raiding. Favorite, but most fun, most frustrating, most rewarding, most frustrating, just fun and frustrating, and I am here for the raiding. I'm definitely I am a guy that'll probably pay $60 to boost 5 more tunes.
Well, it takes you. The nice thing about rating is it takes you on a range of emotions too.
Yeah,
It's very involved.
what's what I'm here for the MM part of the O. I'm here for the social aspect. In case you guys haven't noticed, I'm kind of a social guy. So I like the rating. I enjoy my times alone wandering around the world, but that's not what I'm here for. If I want to do that, I'll go play a single player game. If I'm logging into WoW, it's because I want to hang out with folks. For the most part.
Yeah. Oy. Okay. All right. So on to me now, right?
It's your turn.
All right. So I will give you Thunder Bluff because I did used to play Horde.
Okay.
Thunder Bluff is one of those few capital cities that has not changed one iota, except for the leader. I love the aesthetic, the Native American feel to it. I love the fact that it's not on the ground. Truthfully, that entire area Mulgore is beautiful, although incredibly spread apart. Not my favorite area though, and.
Okay.
There's some people who've talked to me before and probably still won't even know this, but my favorite zone is actually Zangar Marsh.
Okay.
And
expound on that.
so, diving into lore, Zangar Marsh, obviously in Warlords of Draenor, you get a kind of feel of what it used to be like. But Zangar Marsh has ruins, it's got water, the sky is gorgeous. And it's one of the few zones that actually stays consistent, more or less, where the intrusion of the different factions is not as heavily felt as some of the other zones. Nagran's another great place too, where people just kind of set up camp, but they're not altering the area at all, and I love that. It looks fantastic, and there is a lot of ruins, and I love digging into some of the lore out in Zangar Marsh as well. And Silver Strike Cavern is honestly one of my favorite raids.
Nice.
So, well, outside of the zones, I enjoy messing with people in WoW. Not gonna lie.
Love it.
Not gonna. I'm a little bit of a troll, without a doubt, but it is very much so social. And if you don't believe me, then sorry, that's on you. But I am somewhat of an introvert, as you know, Cuddles.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, I log into World of Warcraft to talk to people sometimes. Even when I'm not logged in, people still find me. But but it's very much a social aspect of the game. And for me, I just kind of started off as a social experiment because I had a lot of real life friends, and I go, I wonder if I can replicate that in an MMO. And it's worked out, and more recently, it's worked out incredibly well. And it's proven interesting to me. But yeah, the social aspect of it is so much fun. It is so much fun. Raiding is a blast. I have a ton of fun with my raid teams and the people I raid with. But it's more about building relationships for me.
Nice. Nice.
So yeah.
Right on. Well, that was fun. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Kara and Wicked, for your our inaugural questions for questions from the Cuddle Crew. So I think this is going to bring us to the part of the show where we're going to dive right into a little bit of the meat and the potatoes.
And now for the meat and potatoes.
Okay, here we go.
All right. So since I have the honor and the pleasure of having the wonderful Ursangus here, which, by the way, we have Ursangus here if you guys haven't figured that out.
Hey, that's me.
I know, right? If you haven't figured that out yet, turn up the volume a little.
Yeah.
So, Ursangus, you have a podcast of your own. Why don't you start off? Just tell us a little bit about that, if folks haven't heard of Battle Res Bears.
So me and Mudala, we host a podcast called The Battle Res Bears. Ooh. Okay, anyway, enough of that nonsense. So honestly, we kind of picked this up as Mook came to me one day and goes, "Why don't we host a podcast?" I said, "Oh, okay. I've never done that before. I'll give it a shot." So we kind of picked up where Casual to Raider left off. That was Asimi and Mudala and Nate, I think about a year ago now. But so one of the things Moo and I kind of ran across throughout our raiding experience is there's a lot of people who just don't have experience in general in raiding. And what do I do? And how do I do these outside of boss mechanics? But how do I do guild politics? How do I do with raiding politics? What do I do about, arrangement of groups and whatnot? And what we kind of pitch the show on is current concerns of the raiding community. Some of the things we see, some of the things that are addressed to us, and kind of give our best answer on how you deal with some of these situations that pop up. Because a lot of people take this very personally. And it can be a tough thing to deal with without a little bit of support. It was interesting because when Moo and I were on Realm Maintenance, which I think that episode just went live.
It did. I listened to it this morning.
But it was interesting to me, and I didn't know this, but there's not many podcasts out there that actually teach you how to raid. That teach you kind of the basics that everybody assumes that you have. And Cuddles, you were fortunate enough to come across the Monk IRC, weren't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Peak of Serenity.
So yeah, you did your research, but not everybody does that. And I said, you know what? Even for the people who are experienced raiders, you're never going to run across the same situation twice. And kind of giving a broad spectrum on it seems to... I know, honestly, I've had a blast getting in touch with people and talking about some of the issues that come along. And it's been a learning experience on both ends. So I'm all about that all day, every day. It's and Moo will absolutely agree with me on this.
Nice.
Uh, to address what Marissa said, yes, we do see a lot of these issues filtered through, but try not to take that stance on it. Honestly, like we don't actively associate ourselves with CTR. And nothing against convert to raid or anything like that but it is such a unique animal that CTR
It's
doesn't
not
have the same
relatable.
problems. It's really not.
It is not. If you are not in CTR, if CTR is all you know, and CTR is barely like I only know a very little of outside of CTR. I think I started raiding in CTR, so I really don't know what it's like, and I can tell you, bar none, hands down, we the folks that are in Convert to Raid, we are playing a different game.
Oh, absolutely.
Than people outside of CTR. We do not realize how amazing our community really is.
If you don't believe that, go roll up a tune on another server, and don't go to another mega guild like AIE or anything like that. Go check out other servers and other factions and see. And I love it. I love CTR. Don't get me wrong. But it is such a unique jewel that the information we take away from that as officers really has no bearing on, 99% of who we want our listeners to be.
Yeah. And we see issues that pop up, like interpersonal issues that pop up that we catch wind of, like the officer, the CTR break room. We have like a little area, a little water cooler area that we all hang out in and bounce things off of each other. There's always some interesting stuff in there.
I founded that channel.
Nice. There's always some cool stuff in there, and a lot of it gets us thinking, and a lot of the conversations that go on in there as a result of some of the issues that come up are really awesome.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Just us talking through things is really cool. But in the same way you hear me mention that I'm on Airy Peak and Convert to Raid, that's it. I'm on Airy Peak and Convert to Raid, but this isn't we're more than that as well. Warcraft is as unique as CTR is. There's 9,000 of us, 8,000 of us right about now. There's 10 million people playing Warcraft, or 7 million, or whatever we're down to now. But
whatever they won't publish anymore.
Exactly. And you know what? It's still they're gonna have to get down real low before it even starts mattering. But so outside of that, the one thing that I wanted to talk to you about, since you're on a rating focused podcast, is what do you think of the state of rating right now? We kind of mentioned that, we're kind of in a lull. People are taking breaks, but I can tell you, you go over to our unique jewel of CTR. And you go over to we have 54, I think.
Something like that.
54, 56 active raid teams right now. That's insane.
That's at least 540 different people.
Yeah.
At least. That's and it's something that, honestly, stepping into CTR and even more so into an officer role, that I was not prepared for. Yeah. And nobody really is. And it's always funny meeting new members, and they're like, "What is this?" I said, "Welcome to the last guild you'll ever want to join, man."
We have more people raiding than most people have in their guild.
Yep.
But I mean, so people are out there raiding. Is raiding still? I mean, how much longer are we going to see this? Is it going to go away before? Are we going to dwindle? Is raiding in general? Are we that unique? Are people done raiding right now? Like, what is there anything that you're hearing from the community that does raid about kind of the feels of, having we have another kind of mop situation here with another siege.
Yeah. So the attendance boss is in full effect right now. People are dropping left and right, and they're not just dropping from raid teams. They stop playing. And it's one of those things where if you look at your battle tag friends list, see how many people are logged into WoW during high traffic periods, and how many people are logged into D3, how many people are logged into Hearthstone, or just not logged in at all.
Yeah.
The nice thing, so rating is on the decline right now because of the attendance boss. It's end of X-Pac Blues. It's speaking as a veteran player, it will happen every time.
Oh yeah.
Blizzard has released raid tiers towards the end of an expansion, and it did not work out well. Sunwell was a fantastic example of too little, too late. I love that raid, but it was so late in the expansion that nobody cared. It's like 3 months before Burning Crusade hit. Why would we want to go work on progression in a new raid? I'm just gonna unsub for 2 months and come back and get refreshed.
Yeah.
Rating is definitely on the decline right now, but I will say that I am proud that, at least from what I'm seeing, is that people are taking the friendships and relationships they've built through rating and taking it to other games.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Rocket League is just as one example.
Well, that's what, now that we have our Discords, now we have these, it used to be Battle.net. You could see what your friends were playing.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's Discord.
And it works. Yeah.
Everybody's grouping up and playing games together. It was when the Division beta was out. That was like half the folks that I knew in our guild. Like, we're playing the Division, and now you see people grouping up for Heroes a lot more than I think was going on. The same thing with Rocket League, with Overwatch now. I mean,
yeah.
I played with all guildies last night, and generally we had close to a full team.
Well, and not even going into full-blown gaming either. I know Pat had the drinking and swearing stream the other day where everybody just hung around and played Quiplash. And it was so much fun.
Yep.
It was a blast. So I think if we're going to take any lesson from the end of Warlords or Draenor, it's that you don't have to be in World of Warcraft to have a great time together.
Yeah.
And you don't. You don't. And you don't... And the online relationship sort of thing is kind of grown in recent years to where people are Skyping with each other all the time, and they're playing games together all the time, and they're miles upon miles away from each other. I mean, for instance, I'm in North Dakota, you're in Florida.
Yeah.
And you and I are good buddies.
Yeah, we talk a couple times a week.
Yeah.
We're not having long Skype conversations because that would be weird.
Yeah, we're not taking off clothes around each other or anything like that, but, well, that's what Wisconsin's for.
We're not talking about that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sorry. But I think if you're going to take anything away from the end of X-Pac Blues, it's to maintain those relationships, because these are people you made friends with. And they are, I know there's still kind of a little bit of a taboo that goes out there about online friendships and how they're not as important as real life friendships. Bull cookies.
Yep.
I don't buy it for a second, because, and I'm a testament to this, is that the reason I moved to where I am right now is because I got referred for employment to here, and I moved halfway across the country on a referral from somebody I'd only met in real life once.
I got a Twitter DM from someone that I know online because of World of Warcraft about a potential job, a potential amazing job, in fact. And it's someone that I never would have met if I was relying on shaking hands to meet people. Mm-hmm. I have other online friends that there's another job that I'm applying for that they're going to be writing letters of recommendation for me.
Yeah.
Based on the interactions that we have had completely and totally online. But
it's fantastic.
I mean, there's in WoW and in raiding and just in gaming in general. I mean, so I walk into my office at work, and there are days that I will walk in and no one will say anything to me outside of complaining at me about a computer. Mm-hmm. If I did not plug this computer in and do something in the evening, if I came home and sat down on the couch and watched TV and went to bed, I can't. This is kind of sad. I wouldn't have friends. I work an hour and a half away from home. I leave the house at about 6:30. I don't get home till about 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. I'm generally too tired to go out and socialize. And I'm at home. Tiber, you have a few real life friends in game. I have one real life friend. Like let me take that back. I have one real life friend that I knew outside of Warcraft that is local to me. Squinty is local. Marissa is local. Nav and Bell are close to me. We get to see each other. Ursangus and I will see each other 2 or 3 times this year. It's not that he's not a real, like, I hate that. Like you're not my real life friend. Like,
Bull.
You're my real life friend. Like, you're not my fake friend.
So here's how I kind of break it down as far as valuation of online versus real life friends. If I can make it to Florida, I know that Cuddles will have a couch that I can sleep on. If I need to crash at his place, he goes, here you go. Here's keys. Here's a blanket. You're set, man. And I know that if Cuddles ever comes to, where I am, done. Seriously. And the fantastic thing about that is that ask yourself, how many of your raid mates would do that for you? You would be surprised at how many respond yes. I've actually heard of, there was somebody who asked a raid mate to be their best man in a wedding.
Yep.
Never met him in real life. And says, I want you to be my best man. So the lines between online and real life are blurring consistently. And as people who challenge that and embrace that blurriness, we need to keep doing that. We absolutely need to keep doing that. BlizzCon was a fantastic example. Cuddles, this was your first year.
Yeah.
And weren't you just blown away?
It was, and I say this without hyperbole, it was one of the best weekends of my life. I have never felt more accepted, more welcomed, more surrounded by friends in my life. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience.
And you don't go into it thinking that either.
No, I was like, I'm going to hang out with a bunch of stinky nerds.
Right.
Like I like all of them, but they're all going to be stinky nerds, and it's going to be weird, and it's going to be awkward, and like, no. It was like I was hanging out because of the amount of time that we spend together. I mean, I spend as much time when we're actually doing progression and gearing, and hopping on and doing mythic and heroic dungeons to get gear and like doing all this stuff for. I spend as much time, maybe even more, with my raid team than I do with my wife, than I do with friends that I would have in real life. Because what, you meet a couple times a week and grab a burger, like my buddy here that is my one remaining local friend that I know outside of the game, who ironically is the one that got me into the game. He's since moved to a town about 45 minutes away. He's over in Tampa now. We're having dinner tomorrow night, but I haven't seen him in like a month and a half. I mean, that's the thing. We all, societies, we've all gotten so mobile and so fluid, and you don't see somebody at one job for 45 years and, you work there and those are your friends because those are the guys you worked with for 30 years, 40 years. We all kind of, we're all changing jobs and we're all moving around and it's so much easier to stay in touch, and I don't know. It's great. It's really cool.
Well, and the problem is right now we're in a period of transition. Because and I'm glad you brought this up, but in the workforce right now, you still have those people that say, well, you work with me, you and I have to be friends. No. I
work at my job for a paycheck. I don't work there for friends.
I want to go in and do my work.
Yeah, I don't like them.
Like, obviously they're work friends. I've got a work wife and all that fun stuff. But
I have one friend. I do have one friend, and he does occasionally listen. And Ken, I want to make that clear. Ken, we're friends. I like you. It's just the rest of those bastards.
Well, and it's one of the challenges we're facing right now, and people in our age group where we are constantly in touch on social media now, and we have access to friends outside of walking distance, people with meaningful relationships, and the people who are not involved in the community like we are don't grasp it.
Yeah.
They have a hard time understanding how you and I can have a meaningful discussion, states upon states away. They're like, how is he your friend? You've never met him.
Yeah, my wife does not understand it at all. She's like, you're going to Wisconsin to meet these people that you met online? What are you, crazy? Like, no. In at midnight and Ladra and Jules and you.
Oh, we had such a blast.
So it was hilarious. I'm not going to tell on who, but everyone warns me beforehand. I don't know if I've even told you this.
Yeah, you have.
Everyone warns me beforehand. They're like, listen, I know you and Ursangus get along like really well online, but he's really introverted. He's probably going to wander around by himself. He's probably not going to talk to We spent the entire day together and then ended up sleeping together.
In the same room.
In the same room.
In the same room, you perverts.
Or did we?
Oh.
No, but then we ended up like staying. Like we literally like spent the entire. We had a blast. And
well, yeah. So for me, and I know I told this story to you before, Cuddles, is we got to the Rin Rain. Everybody gathered up, got their photos in, and we got in the gates, and Ursangus disappeared. I disappeared for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then I started walking around looking for people. I got my bearings, and I said, okay, I'm good. Where the hell's Cuddles? Come here. Let's go get you a kilt, buddy. And it was fascinating to me. I know you told me that story before, but it was always interesting to me that somebody warned you. I'm like, okay, whoever warned you didn't really know me, obviously. That I know who it was. And we're not going to mention. I know exactly who it was. But it's fine. It's fine. It's just the same as meeting a new person. Oh, it really is. Because my online persona versus my real life persona do not match up. They're similar, but they don't match up. It's the same way, and I came across this years ago, is who you are like in high school is different than, the person you are while at school is different than who you are at home.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, the things I did at school, I would not dare to do at home. Not dare.
Very true.
So if you have, issues kind of getting your head around this, think about that. Think about how you change depending on your environment.
Yeah. Well, that was a very good, I think, summary of how rating is going right now. in Warlords.
Is that what we were talking about?
I don't even know, man. There's rails over there. This was
I
a
will
much better
tell you,
discussion than that, though.
So I'm gonna lay it down here real quick as far as rating goes. If you want my one piece of advice about rating, if you're going to be a good, or you're going to brag about being a good rater, then be a good rater.
Yep.
Plain and simple. It always struck me as hilarious because somebody on FacePull, I stubbed in as a tank one day, and they go, "They're saying this is going to tank for us. Are we sure about that?" So, give him a shot, and then like 2 hours in, and we killed Heroic Archimon, and I've never touched him before. He goes, "Huh?" And here I was, he was always just talking blank. He's actually a decent tank. It's, yeah. Like I didn't come here to pussyfoot around with you folks. I told you I was a good raider, and I just proved it.
Ooh. Speaking of gauntlets being thrown, there is still a tri-tank challenge out there.
There is, and we've gotten a couple suggestions.
I actually have someone up there. Oh, I think I got it. Wow, first try. There's someone up there that actually has requested to be a part of this. And that's Mr. Theory from the Epic Fail podcast.
Oh.
he kind of wants in on this. He thinks he's better than you. Those were actually his exact words is, I'm so much better than Dirty Sangus.
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. He
No,
said he
bring
would
it on.
put you. He said he would put you in the ground and then turn you into a murloc and then put you back in the ground.
Hold on. I have an answer to that. Let's see here. Slash G kick.
Oh.
Theory. Oh.
Oh.
Oh. No, I'm kidding. No, I will take on anybody. I have tanked next to Pasha. If anybody's familiar with Pasha, she's on Convert to Mythic. And let me put it this way. When they were short a tank on Convert to Mythic, who do you think the first person they whispered was?
8 other people and then you?
It was what has 2 thumbs and had to decline because he was already raiding.
Oh.
This guy.
Oh. I trialed with Convert to Mythic once.
It's a tough group.
I was on a work laptop at a hotel, and I couldn't see. You know the egg that Mythic roly poly dude or Gorger. He drops that thing on the ground. They kept on telling me to get out of the thing in the ground.
Couldn't see it.
Never saw. I went back and did it. With another team. I was like, oh, that thing. I would have been able to avoid that.
Well, no. So honestly, I am down to challenging any tank who can take away some experience from it.
I don't think that's what Theory is saying. He is claiming now that you're here, that he said that he was, quote, confident in his abilities on his ballot. I don't think that's what it was. I think there was a lot of name calling. If there was a bus, you would have been underneath it. I mean, really, there was a lot of insults about your lack of hair, your body odor, and your ability to read.
Okay, I'll give him the body odor.
I know, right?
But I think the reason that Theory changed his tunes, it's very simple. He saw the gun show. See what I mean about streaming? You just turn into a goofball.
For those listening on the download, I'm not going to describe that. It was sad.
Yeah.
One thing that I do want to get out of the way, we are running a little long, but that's all right.
Yeah. They always say that Ursangus is a little long.
Rating in Legion.
How
are we looking? We've seen a couple dungeons. We're not seeing raids yet. Anything to be scared of? Anything to be look out for? Anything? How about this? To keep it succinct.
Ooh.
What should we be doing now if we're planning on raiding in Legion? How much attention do we need to be paying with what's in alpha? What do we need to be doing to our tunes now? And should we all just roll bears?
Well, yes. We should all roll bears. That goes with that question. However, after I did watch the race today, and I did take there were a couple takeaways from it. The dungeon designers got their marching orders at some point. The people who actually do the encounter designs got their marching orders at some point, and they are making some innovations. My tip to anyone who actually wants to raid effectively in Legion is clear your UI. Give yourself a full field of vision. Because it seems like they're going to be doing a lot of environmental sort of encounters where you're going to need to pay attention to not just the boss, but 5 other things going on around you at the same time. Seriously, work on your awareness and not just on health bars or anything like that. You need to work on your situational awareness stat. That's one piece of advice I'd give away for anybody who's going to be raiding in Legion.
Right on.
Well, and right now, for that matter, obviously, situational awareness is the key to any good raider.
Right on. Well, once we're a little bit closer to Legion, once maybe we have a beta, once we actually see some raiding, I'd love to have you back to talk a little bit about how raiding is going to look.
Oh hell yeah.
And maybe we can get Moo in here too. break him out of raid on a Thursday night.
That guy raids with a paper bag over his head.
Oh, jeez. So that is going to bring us to the part of the show where we do some shout-outs.
And now it's time for shout-outs.
All right, yeah, come on. Whoa, I mean, not come on, but yeah.
So, Ursangus, do you have any shout-outs this week?
Oh, goodness sakes. Shout out to that random guy from the Converted podcast for pointing out my vacuum. That is probably one of the best jokes I've ever heard. Shout out to Facepull. We're getting hit by the attendance boss just the same as everybody else right now, but we're still knocking out bosses. Shout out to Sunday Mass Rez. Wow, you guys have come far since I started raiding with you. Holy crap. We went from, 12 of 13 normal to 5 of 13 heroic in a single day.
What?
And knocked some bosses on their asses. It was so much fun. And thank you for letting me set Ursangus to the side and go back to DPS warrioring. Because it's just so much more fun. I got to give this shout out to, I know we are probably already mentioned this, but happy belated birthday to Salmisis.
Yep.
I mean, I said it in the after show, but it needs to be said again.
No. Happy birthday, Sal.
What about you, Cuddles? Who do you have?
Well, first and foremost, for everyone that has been coming out and enjoying and having fun, hanging out in my stream, supporting my hashtag Get Serious About Streaming push, Wicked, Marissa, Squinty, Merritt, everybody that has been hanging out. I really and truly appreciate y'all. It's the folks in my chat room. That's why I turned the camera on. I can play. I can play the games by myself without having to worry about is it okay to pick my nose or break wind right now, because they might see it on camera or hear it on my microphone.
It's fine.
I know. Those are. But see, you know what scares me is Kalani. Kalani's got that gift game on fleek. And
yes, he does.
I don't even want to be anywhere near this with my fingers, because Kalani will. Have you seen the salty one?
Maybe.
He did one. So I did the hand motion of shaking. I'm going to keep my hands under the desk. Of me shaking a salt shaker.
Yes, I have seen that one.
And then it definitely does not look like it. Also, huge shout out to Epic Fail, to Battle Res Bears for having me on last week. Shout out to Moo, to Wicked for letting me in on the raid team. I know they have a surprise for me right after the show. I'm terrified and titillated.
It's a trap.
And of course, thank you to you for coming on the show. Big shouts to Ursangus. And I mentioned it before, but guys, this Saturday I'm going to be on one of my favorite shows. One of the first WoW podcasts that I got back into seriously once I started playing, the Dark Moon Herald. And so big shouts to Kelp Keeper Walsh, Rebel Floor, and of course the Ringmaster Kevin. I got to meet them at BlizzCon, and they're great. Like they're just really, really cool people. And like I said, they have what I would call the best intro in podcasting. So go check out Epic Fail. Go check out the last episode of Battle Res Bears. All the episodes of all of them, and be looking for me on Dark Moon Herald. So that brings us to a very important moment in the show.
The most important.
The most important. I'm going to get down on my virtual knees right now, and I'm going to beg, and I'm going to plead with you to leave me some of those all-important 5-star iTunes reviews. So, guys, remember, if you liked what I'm doing here, if you enjoyed Ursangus and what we talked about tonight, leave a 5-star review for the Game Case Show over on iTunes. Now, if you didn't like it, if for some reason we said something offensive, you just don't like the sound of my voice or the cut of my jib, then by God, remember, this show is called Matted Hair Don't Care, the show all about hairstyling for bears. Arr. Leave that one 2 stars. But if you liked it, again, 5 stars for the Game Case on iTunes. Like us, thumbs up, all the other places. You know what to do. It's the internet. Come on. Ursangus, where can people find you on this crazy World Wide Web?
Oh, Lord. Twitter, at Ursangus. That's Ursangus. You can also find me occasionally streaming, twitch.tv/Ursangus. You can find me in World of Warcraft, Airy Peak US on the Alliance side, usually kicking people out of the CTR LFO channel. You can also find us, of course, me and Mudala. Also, I host a podcast called Battle Res Bears. And yes, Moo, I said I host. We made a executive decision at some point. But you can find me all over the place. Find me on Twitter especially. I put some funny stuff out there.
He thinks it's funny.
It is funny. And if you don't think it's funny, you're wrong.
Yep.
Yep. Just gonna lay it out there.
All right.
Just gonna bail.
Oh, nice. Well, that is going to do it for episode 42. If you'd like to join our live audience and hang out in the chat room, like all the fun people did tonight, because the Twitch viewer list is no longer broken. So thank you to Draven, Moo, Squinty, Wicked, Airlina, Gank, Theory, Marissa, Shoal, Tiber, Zytam, and the wonderful gentleman that came in and said that Ursangus and I were cool as F earlier. I appreciate each and every one of you. Also, Zoe was in here. Gosh, I love Zoe Zazu.
She's so nice. So nice.
But you all are wonderful, and really and truly, without you, there wouldn't be a show. I would just be a guy with a neckbeard talking into a microphone, and nobody likes that. Except for y'all, because you're here.
Because you're weird.
Yeah.
But weird is cool.
I guess so.
And you guys sat here and watched me stroke my beard for an hour. I mean, how wrong could you be?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so. I don't even know what that means. I don't know what this means.
Something poople rocks?
Yeah. I don't know. Clown poople rocks?
It's Draven.
Yeah. I don't know. So if you'd like to join this crazy, wild live audience, you can find us on twitch.tv/thegamecase at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, or 16.2 beats if you go by the Swatch Watch Internet Universal Time, which no one does. Congratulations, single internet time hipster. You can join us here each and every Thursday. Thank you for listening to episode 42 of The Game Case. You can find me on Twitter at Mullet863. You can find the show at The Game Case Show. You can download us on iTunes and Stitcher, catch recordings of the live show or our tips, tricks, and kill videos at youtube.com/thegamecase, or find all of the things on the official site of The Game Case Show, thegamecase.com. Ursangus, say bye.
Hi.
Bye, everybody. Game Case out.
Thank you for joining us this week inside the Game Case. Please join us next week for more news, tips, and ramblings about the World of Warcraft. Game Case out.
World of the Warcraft.